There are four types of people when it comes to money, and the one you are has almost nothing to do with how much you earn. Financial psychology identifies four distinct money personalities, four completely different relationships with money that show up regardless of income, education, or background. You could earn six figures and still behave like the person who earns nothing. You could grow up in poverty and naturally think like someone wealthy, because this isn't about your bank account. It's about the psychological blueprint you built around money, usually before you were old enough to question it. Decades of research in financial psychology, behavioral economics, and financial therapy point to four core patterns that show up again and again. In therapy offices, in financial planning sessions, in couples counseling, and in the spending habits of people who can't explain why they do what they do with money. They are the spender, the hoarder, the avoider, and the money worshiper. Most people are primarily one, with elements of a second, and almost everyone has one they've been quietly in denial about for years. By the end of this video, you'll know which one you are. More importantly, you'll understand why. The first type is the spender, and before you assume this is the irresponsible one, stop. Because spending is almost never about the thing being purchased. Spenders use money to generate feelings, specifically the feeling of abundance, of being generous, of being alive in the moment. Many spenders grew up in households where money was either scarce or emotionally cold, and somewhere along the way, the brain learned that spending equals warmth, spending equals control, spending equals proof that things are okay right now, even if they weren't before. The spender's core belief is that money is meant to be experienced, and that saving feels like deprivation. But what behavioral research consistently shows is this: most spenders aren't actually enjoying the purchases. The high is in the act of spending itself. The moment the transaction is complete, the feeling fades, which means the spender is not buying things. They're buying relief, and relief, by definition, is temporary. The spender's shadow, the pattern they rarely admit, is a deep fear of scarcity, not current scarcity, future scarcity. The unconscious logic goes, if I spend it now, at least I got something from it. Because somewhere in the nervous system, money doesn't feel safe to hold, so it gets spent before it can disappear on its own. The second type is the hoarder, sometimes called the saver, and on the surface, this looks like the responsible one. They save consistently. They rarely spend on themselves. Their emergency fund has a backup emergency fund, but financial therapy reveals something consistent underneath the hoarder pattern. It isn't discipline, it's anxiety. The hoarder doesn't save because saving feels good. They save because spending feels dangerous. Every purchase, even necessary ones, triggers a low-level alarm in the nervous system, something that says, you shouldn't have done that. What if you need that later? Hoarders often grew up in environments of financial uncertainty, where money could disappear without warning, or where they watched the adults around them lose everything. The mind responded by building a fortress, and now that fortress protects them from a danger that may no longer exist, while also keeping them from actually living. Hoarders frequently accumulate significant wealth and still experience a genuinely poor quality of life. They can't enjoy what they have because enjoyment feels like a threat to security. The hoarder's deepest fear isn't poverty, it's helplessness. The money is a buffer against the feeling of having no control, which means no amount will ever feel like enough. Because the target was never a number, it was a feeling of safety that the money was never actually going to deliver. The third type is the avoider, and this is the most dangerous one, not because they do the most damage, but because they're the hardest to identify, including by themselves. The avoider doesn't think about money, not because they're carefree, but because thinking about money produces an anxiety response so uncomfortable that the mind has simply learned to not go there. Bills pile up unopened. Bank accounts go unchecked for weeks. Conversations about finances get deflected or postponed. Tax returns filed months late, not from laziness, from a very specific psychological avoidance pattern that has a very specific psychological root. The avoider's core belief, usually operating entirely below awareness, is that engaging with their finances will confirm something they don't want to know, that things are worse than they thought, that they've failed, that they're behind. So the strategy becomes, if I don't look, I don't have to know. And if I don't know, I can't be confronted with the evidence of what I'm afraid of. The avoidance isn't denial exactly, it's a form of self-protection that costs them compound interest, late fees, and opportunities every single day. Avoiders often grew up in households where money was a source of conflict, shame, or chaos, and the emotional association became so strong that the topic itself became psychologically threatening. Many avoiders are highly intelligent, capable people who handle complex decisions at work with complete ease and cannot bring themselves to open their credit card statement. The disconnect isn't about intelligence, it's about which topics the nervous system has marked as unsafe. The avoider's shadow is almost always shame, not the shame of what they'll find when they look, the shame of having avoided it for so long, which creates a loop. Avoid because of shame, accumulate more shame from avoiding, avoid more to escape the accumulated shame. The avoidance isn't the problem, it's the symptom, and the wound underneath it is one the avoider has been careful never to look at directly. The fourth type is the money worshiper, and this one is the most culturally celebrated, which makes it the most difficult to question. The money worshiper operates on one central belief: money solves everything. More money means more happiness, more security, more freedom, more love, more worth as a human being. If something is wrong in their life, more money is the answer. If a relationship is struggling, more money will fix it. If they fee, here's what most explanations of these types get wrong. They treat them as fixed categories. You're a spender or you're a hoarder. But psychological research doesn't support that. Most people have a dominant type, the one running most of their financial decisions, and a secondary type that surfaces under stress, in relationships, or at specific income thresholds. Many people shift between types, depending on context. A hoarder at home becomes a spender when they travel. An avoider with personal finances becomes obsessively detail-oriented with work budgets. A money worshiper becomes an avoider when their wealth fails to deliver the happiness they expected. The point isn't to find your label. The point is to find the pattern, because the pattern is what's making your financial decisions when you think you're making them yourself. And the pattern almost always has a root, a moment, a household, an emotional experience that taught you what money means. Not what it is, what it means. And what it means to you is still running everything. Jung said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your money type isn't fate. It isn't personality. It isn't just the way you are. It's a pattern that was built, which means it can be examined. And examined patterns lose their automatic power over you. Not immediately, not completely, but enough. Enough to pause before the next impulsive purchase, enough to finally open the envelope, enough to let yourself rest without feeling like you're failing, enough to stop asking money to be something it was never designed to be. The next video on this channel goes deeper into the psychology of self-sabotage, why intelligent people repeatedly undermine their own success, and what's actually running that pattern beneath the surface. If today's video recognized something in you, that recognition is where the work begins. Subscribe, and I'll see you there.